After this clip, I'll show you another country that Obama has used drones in, which I just learned about tonight.
The Obama administration is defending having secured FISA court requests from internet corporations to essentially seize not only telephone records, but email records. We don't even know what they've seized. They say it was important for fighting terrorism.
Well, if we had anything like a free press, there would be headlines saying this is a bad joke. The Obama administration is dedicated to increasing terrorism. In fact, it's doing it all over the world. Obama is running first of all, he's running the biggest terrorist operation that exists, maybe in history, the drone assassination campaigns.
This is the man who has facilitated a 200% increase in the use of drones, which have killed thousands of people, including hundreds of children.
He's running the biggest terrorist operation that exists, maybe in history, the drone assassination campaigns, which are just part of it. There's special forces operations and so on. All of these operations are terror operations.
Why?
Well, suppose that you're walking down the street and you don't know whether 2 minutes from now the guy across the street and everything around him is going to be blown away by a sudden explosion run by somebody a couple of thousand miles away. You're terrorized. And in fact, villages, regions, countries are terrorized by these operations. And that has a reaction. People just don't say, fine, I don't mind if my cousin was murdered. They do mind. And they become what we call terrorists. This is completely understood from the highest level, that as you carry out these operations, you're generating terrorism. First of all, they are terrorist operations, and they're generating more terrorist operations. Sometimes it's almost surreal. Like, take the marathon bombing. That's supposed to be the excuse for a lot of this stuff. A couple of days after the marathon bombings in Boston, there was a drone strike in Yemen. Usually we don't know anything about these things, but this one happens to be known because there was a young man from the village that was attacked who was in the United States, and by fortunate accident he was testifying before a Senate committee. And he described what happened in his village. He said for years the jihadi groups in Yemen had been trying to get the villagers to be anti-American, and they'd failed because the only thing they knew about America was what he was telling them, and he kind of liked it here. He was having a good time. So they're very pro-American. He said one drone attack turned them all into fanatic anti-American, what we call anti-Americans, people who hate the country that's just terrorizing them. Not surprised. That's just consider the way we react to acts of terror. Yeah, that's the way other people react to acts of terror.
And of course, the biggest irony of all, the protestations of Obama himself in his speech to the children in Northern Ireland about peace, when he said, "Those who choose the path of peace, I promise you the United States of America
will support you every step of the way. We will always be a wind at your back."
Now I ask you, is this person going for the Hypocrite of the Century award? Because we have to call things by their right names. And the reality is that by any serious examination, this man is a war criminal.
Clare Daly points to Obama's actions in Syria, and she continues calling things by their right name in this video, which you can see by clicking here. I tried to warn you about Obama before the Democratic primaries. I show you when I did that in this video. If you click on these playlists, you can hear more about these things. As I mentioned at the start of this video, here's something I learned tonight on Twitter by reading tweets countering a deceptive tweet. A Michael Moore tweet denying the reality that Obama is already a quote-unquote war president. What happened was I saw a reply tweet listing the Philippines. So I checked, and yes, President Obama has used drones in the Philippines too. Here's an example of what Obama's drone strikes do to people. Within minutes, 15 people lay dead, and a community plunged into despair, fear, and mourning. I'll put a link to that article in the video description, along with the links to the playlists and more. If you haven't seen it, there's more of Laura Flanders' interview with Chomsky in my previous video. I explain where I got the clips for that at the end of that video. And check out the other videos in that playlist, including clips of my interview with Chomsky. Please use the YouTube tools to share this video with other people and subscribe. And not only that, you can subscribe to the Representative Press email list and the Representative Press blog. You can see links to all this stuff in the video description.